Welcome, everyone, to this explainer. Our mission on this show is always exactly the same. We take the slick marketing claims of popular products and we drag them into the harsh light of real-world data and actual customer experiences. And today, well, we've got a fascinating little piece of tech on our radar. It's the Rythflo Wearable Bluetooth V5.3 speaker. The manufacturer is making some incredibly bold claims about this tiny, clip-on device being the absolute ultimate job site and outdoor companion. But is it really? Or is it just, clever marketing? Let's dive right into this and find out exactly what the data actually tells us.
Right off the bat, let's start with a really surprising number, 2.1. That is the weight, in ounces, of this entire device. Just 2.1 ounces. To put that into perspective for you, it's roughly the size and weight of a standard wristwatch. It's exceptionally small, and yet it's promising heavy-duty, rugged performance. That massive contrast between its tiny physical footprint and its enormous marketing promises is exactly what makes this such a compelling product for us to break down today.
To do this properly, we're going to use our structured buyer's guide approach. We'll cover the wearable audio solution, the big claims in this tiny package, its durability for the elements, battery and connectivity, the customer verdict, and finally, Section 6, is it actually worth it?
Okay, kicking things off with Section 1, the wearable audio solution. Before we can even evaluate if our product is good, we kind of need to understand what it's actually designed to do, right? What is the fundamental problem the Rythflo speaker is trying to solve? Well, the answer is situational awareness combined with hands-free convenience. Think about it. Traditional Bluetooth speakers can be incredibly bulky, just a hassle to lug around. Earbuds, on the other hand, they're great for portability, sure, but they totally isolate you. They plug your ears and block out your entire environment. This device is specifically targeting folks who literally cannot afford to be isolated. We're talking outdoor enthusiasts who need to hear nature or potential hazards, or blue-collar workers who absolutely need to communicate with colleagues on a really noisy job site. The Rythflo aims to give you your music, your podcasts, right there on your collar, while keeping your ears completely open to the world around you.
Moving on to Section 2. Big claims, tiny package.
The manufacturer promises a magnetic speaker system delivering deep bass and crisp sound. But how does that translate to the actual physical build? Built like a tank. That is a direct quote from a verified customer reviewing this 2.5 by 1.75-inch device. Now, I know you don't usually associate a 2-ounce piece of plastic with heavy artillery, but reviewers consistently note that the construction features surprisingly thick, heavy plastic, strong rubber passive radiators, and a real metal grille protecting the speakers. So physically, the build quality genuinely seems to punch well above its weight class.
And that brings us to the raw specifications. Let's peek under the hood here. It connects via the fast and stable Bluetooth 5.3 protocol. It pumps out 5 watts of maximum audio output, which, let me tell you, is quite robust for a wearable this size. It boasts a staggering 30 hours of battery life, specifically when you play it at 70% volume. It's also rocking an IPX7 rating, meaning it is highly waterproof and dustproof. And finally, it features a built-in ENC, that's environmental noise-canceling microphone, for taking clear, hands-free phone calls. I mean, that is a whole lot of tech packed into a tiny 2-ounce clip.
So let's jump into Section 3, durability for the elements.
Because honestly, it's one thing to read specs off of a neat little table, it is another entirely to subject a device to the chaos of daily life. So the crucial question is this: does it actually survive the job site? Does that IPX7 waterproof rating and that heavy-duty retaining clip translate to actual real-world ruggedness when you're out in the elements?
Well, real-world customer data paints a totally fascinating picture for us here. We have a welder who wears earplugs on the job, clipping this thing directly to his shirt so he can actually still hear his music over the roar of industrial noise. We've got another user utilizing it to call batters at a Little League game, which completely proves its outdoor projection capabilities. People are using it while literally digging in the dirt in the garden, listening to it sitting on a ledge in the shower, really putting that waterproof claim to the test. And get this, one user even linked it via Bluetooth to their ham radio. That way they could monitor transmissions while walking around the house without blasting the main radio volume for everyone else. The versatility here is genuinely, honestly impressive.
All right, Section 4, battery and connectivity.
Because if you're going to be out in the garden or on the job site all day long, the electronic lifelines of this device, how long it lasts and how it connects, become absolutely paramount. The manufacturer claims a massive 30-hour battery life, and the source data actually backs this up. It's powered by a 3,000 milliamp-hour battery, and reviewers consistently praised its longevity, noting it holds a charge incredibly well, even when it's just sitting around not in use. And when it eventually does die, customer data confirms it fully recharges via a modern USB-C connection in just about 2 hours. Pretty slick.
When it comes to connectivity, it's remarkably versatile too. Step 1, of course, you can connect wirelessly via Bluetooth 5.3. But reviewers were totally thrilled to find some awesome bonus features. It actually includes an auxiliary input jack for older devices and even a micro SD card slot to play MP3s directly. No phone needed. Step 2, it features TWS mode, true wireless stereo. This means you can literally pair two of these speakers together, combining them for 10 watts of louder, immersive stereo sound. Imagine clipping one to each side of your gear while you and a friend are on a run. And step 3, you can take calls seamlessly using that noise-canceling microphone, which reviewers verified actually sounds crisp on both ends of the line.
Which brings us nicely to Section 5, the customer verdict.
We've seen the claims, we've gone over the specs, now we aggregate the feedback from over 1,117 global ratings to give you a hard, data-driven reality check. Looking at the overall sentiment, I gotta say, it is overwhelmingly positive. Out of those 1,117 total global ratings, a massive 73% of buyers gave it a perfect 5-star score. Another 12% gave it 4 stars. So doing the math, that means 85% of all users had a highly positive experience. But as an impartial explainer, we absolutely must look at the entire spectrum, right? Including that 6% who gave it a 1-star rating. So, where does this device excel and where exactly does it stumble?
Looking through the feedback, the single most contentious issue in the data is, without a doubt, the volume. The dominant opinion out there praises it as a little powerhouse, noting it's super loud and clear with really great high and mid tones. However, you've got this conflicting feedback stating it simply wasn't as loud as they expected. Furthermore, a very specific technical critique emerged regarding the volume controls themselves. Multiple reviewers noted that the volume adjustment steps are coarse. What does that mean? It means the jump between volume levels is drastic. One user complained that even on the absolute lowest volume setting, the speaker was still quite loud, which made it super difficult to use for just quiet background listening in a small room.
Despite that volume debate, though, the value proposition is heavily praised. One highly detailed 5-star review outright declared it the best bang-for-buck BT speaker, noting that it is specifically tuned for fun, punchy bass rather than, say, a flat studio reference quality. Users absolutely love the premium feel at a price point that is well under the traditional name brands. They also heavily praise the dynamic RGB lighting features that flash along with the music. It just adds a really fun, colorful aesthetic to the whole shebang.
But we promised you complete neutrality here, so we must highlight the performance reliability issues experienced by a small minority of buyers. Here is a direct quote from a critical 1-star review. "Charged all night, took it off the charger the next day, and still will not turn on." While 85% of users had a flawless experience, the data does show a small but very real percentage of defective units arriving with power issues where the device simply ceases to function or refuses to power on at all right out of the box.
Finally, Section 6. Is it worth it?
Let's summarize the hard facts here so you, the focused learner, can make an informed decision for yourself. Here is the final breakdown. In the Pro column, the price-to-performance ratio is honestly phenomenal, coming in at under $30. It is ultra-lightweight at just 2.1 ounces, with a surprisingly heavy-duty metal and plastic build and a fantastic, strong retaining clip. And that wild 30-hour battery life claim? It actually holds true in real-world testing. Now in the con column, the volume controls are undeniably coarse, meaning it's pretty hard to get a quiet, nuanced sound level. There's also this minor annoyance where the RGB lighting settings don't save to memory. That means if you set a specific color, turn the device off, you're going to have to cycle through the buttons to find it again when you turn it back on. And finally, there is for sure that small risk of receiving a defective power unit.
Which leaves us with this final thought. Based on the data, the Rythflo clearly delivers massive utility for a very specific type of person. Someone who needs durable, loud, hands-free audio without being completely isolated from their environment. So ask yourself, is the Rythflo clip-on the ultimate everyday audio companion for your lifestyle, or is it just another disposable gadget? Weigh the evidence we've covered today, take a hard look at your daily routine, and make the choice that's right for you. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll see you on the next one.